Should have known. Anyway, hello if you are joining after the live, and hello if you're on here now. I'm going to try to get myself situated on the laptop at the same time so that I can follow along with the chat. I wish I'd brought out my other glasses. I need to pull back a little bit to see things. But if you are watching this after, and so far there is no chat at the moment because it doesn't look like anyone else is here yet. But if you are watching this after the fact, then you will want to maybe wait a day or so if you don't see the chat alongside the video, because for some reason it takes a while for YouTube to catch up and get the chat linked up. I don't know why. Maybe they're monitoring it for anything improper. I have no idea. But I see. Hi, Karen. How are you? Glad you're here as well. And I know there are a few other people here, so if you'd like to say hello so I know who has joined in. Now, I am out on the porch, and you'll notice that a lot of the leaves are gone. And it's kind of chilly today. It's like 54, so that's why I'm wearing my pink robe. And it's hooded, so if I feel like I'm getting too cold, I don't think I will, but hello, how are you? But I figured I was going to wear my sweatshirt, but for those of you who have been following along with the house drama, since July, we've been totally in a turmoil because we had an air conditioner leak in the guest room. Water started coming through the ceiling. The insurance company set out a remediation team who basically tore that room and the office apart because the office, there was also moisture leaking in there. So those two rooms have been out of commission since July. So the office where Paul works from is now in the living room, and everything's crowded in there. So finally, after it's almost 5 months, we finally got the ceiling fixed and the walls that they had taken down. And we are now having the painters in to paint to try to get it set up, and then the electrician will come in. So things are moving along. That's my long way of saying that I couldn't get my sweatshirt because it's in the room where they're painting, in the closet in there. So I thought, well, I'll just grab my robe and wear that. It'll be nice and cozy. My legs don't usually bother me too much anyways. And yes, I am wearing shorts because I wear shorts almost year round. And I also wear short sleeve shirts almost year round because I run a little warmer than others, especially Paul. Paul and I, we are on opposite ends of the heat spectrum. If I'm comfortable, he's cold. If he's comfortable, I'm hot. So, go figure. So I need to, hey Gina, you're not that late, it's only a few minutes. And is your mom watching with you? But yeah, so that's why I am wearing my robe instead of my sweatshirt, which I was going to get, but I didn't want to disturb the painters. I want them to be able to do what they got to do and get all of that done. So you might, well, I don't think you can see from here, but you might hear when they leave or come out. They do come out on occasion to do things. So there may be some distraction there. surprisingly enough, I'm not hearing any gunshots, which if you've watched the lives before, um, if you've watched the lives before, then you know that I live up the road from a shooting range where there's like a hunting club up the road, and they have a firing range across the way. So often there will be gunshots in the background. Surprisingly, there are not this time. So she ended up taking your dad to see your grandson's baseball game, but says hi. Well, hello to her and your father. I hope he had a good birthday. Um, yeah, and obviously that's more important, spending time with family than just hanging out with me. Um, so I totally understand. This is really bugging me that my glasses I need to pull back, and because these are progressives, so I have to have my head in the right position in order to see what the heck I'm looking at. Hi Mickey, how are you? Um, so yeah, I'm all over the place. Speaking of all over the place, I did not even do a weigh-in this week. Last week's was not good. I was up 1.6. And the week itself was not great, because my body was not really happy with me. I knew that it wouldn't be happy with me, but I did it anyway, because we have this back room where all sorts of stuff is stored, like Christmas decorations, Easter, all sorts of stuff like that. Um, all of the kitchenware that we used for like those big Christmases that we did. Oh, Karen, it's making us insane. I mean, this has been almost 5 months. And like even trying to do a video, I either have to get up early in the morning, I have to get up late, stay up late. But honestly, I've tried to stay up late and do one, but then I'm too tired by the time it comes around to, by Paul's gone to bed and, doing a video, it's too much. So no, I don't. I haven't been able to stay up late, but anyway, I'm rambling as usual. So anyways, I went out back, and Brian has been helping me off and on over the past few months, 6 months maybe, to try to sort out the back room. Well, I wanted to get stuff done before it got really cold. So I went back there and I did a lot of rearranging, a lot of box moving, and I knew my body was not going to be happy with me from doing all of that work. But it felt so good getting it done that it was worth the 3 days of, not agony, but a lot of discomfort. There was some pain, but to me it was worth it, because I feel so much better about how the back room is set up now. Not finished, but at least I've gotten it set up to where I'm comfortable with it. I can actually see boxes that I wasn't able to access before, so now when spring comes and the weather's nice, I can go back there, hopefully with Brian. Hopefully he will help me out, my grandson Brian, and help clear things out. But hi Barbara. I wasn't doing too well. Hi Kathy. I wasn't doing too well early on in the week. I think I went out Monday and did all of that work. Sunday or Monday, I think. I don't know. I think it was Sunday, actually. And my body was not too happy with me for like the next 3 days. It's much better now. And but I wasn't feeling better enough to record a video. Like I said, with everything in such a turmoil around here, it's been, hi Bev, with everything in such a turmoil, it's been really challenging to try to get a video done. That's why a lot of them have been like quicker videos, like, you know, Asian food, Chinese dishes, things like that. Hi Rachel. Because I have very limited time. It's not like Paul's in the office working and I have time to close him away and do my video at my leisure. So I've been doing quicker ones. The one I was going to do for this week, which I will probably do for next week, is I did a, thank you Barbara, yeah, I am feeling much better. The cramps have subsided, the pains have subsided, so far so good. But it honestly just takes a little exertion and, you know, just like a smidge too much, and, you know, my body's just like, nope, I'm not dealing with this. So it can be a challenge. I really, there are so many things I want to get done that would have been so easy for me to do before, and they just aren't. So that can be very frustrating because I like being able to do what I want when I want, clear things up, do things, but now things take much longer, and then sometimes I pay for it afterwards, depending on what it is. Like even going grocery shopping, if I carry too much in at one time, it starts to wreak havoc with my arms, especially. Just going and doing anything, it's like I've exercised 50 times more than what the actual activity was. So my body gets very worn out, very tired. Yeah, oh, I get that, Barbara. And it's funny because when Paul's aunt was alive and this all started happening, which was, I think, about 8 years ago now. So when I was 56, around, no, 54, because I'm going to be 62 in December. So I was much worse off in the beginning. So his aunt and I, she was 80 at the time. I used to joke about we were like two peas in a pod. We both had the same difficulties walking upstairs, doing, you know, so yeah, I've been in an older body than I even should be at this point for quite a while, but it is what it is. It's the hand I was dealt. Just got to pick up those cards and play them. That's all you can do. So anyway, what I am planning on doing, as many of you know, and I showed in the last live, the attempt at making a sugar-free coffee syrup did not go well, considering that the monk fruit really hardened up into like a hard, I had to throw the jar away because I couldn't even get it out of there. So I said, well, let me switch gears. And I usually only use the syrups. Sometimes I use it in cereal to kind of flavor that. So I thought to try a coffee creamer, since that's generally how I use it anyway. So I made a pumpkin spice coffee creamer that was really good. I've been enjoying that all week. I also want to do a peppermint mocha, because my friend Bree, if you know Bree from Balancing Life with Bree, she loves peppermint mocha. So I thought, the holidays are coming up, you know, I'll have a pumpkin. Maybe I can also do a peppermint mocha. So that is what I am working on for the next video. Fingers crossed that I have the time and inclination to do it. So, because I mean, it was good to share some of the older videos And because some people who, if you're new, you haven't seen a lot of them, so it was good to share some of them. And honestly, when I looked at the, like, especially the last couple, the pumpkin pie that I did for yesterday is, I edited almost 7 minutes out of that video, and still, did my screen just like blank out for a second? Because I saw the painters go into the house. It comes up with a little chime on my phone. But I saw down here, it looked like it blanked, went white for a second. Anyway, it doesn't take much to distract me with my ADD. So yeah, peppermint mocha does sound good, doesn't it? So I also wanted to do the pumpkin pie dip that I did for the Halloween collab. I want to try to do holiday versions of that, like an eggnog and maybe a gingerbread. Because I've done like eggnog and gingerbread pancakes. I thought it might be fun if I could make those dips and do like an eggnog version and a gingerbread version. So I'm planning on working on that as well. I just have so many ideas, and then it's like, by the time the holidays are here, I'm like, I couldn't get them all done, but I do what I can. Trying to remember. I'm sure I distracted myself from whatever I was saying, and if anyone remembers that I had a point that I was heading toward, feel free to let me know. But anyway, we are finally moving forward, if slowly, with getting the other rooms organized, getting them back on track. The one good thing about it is we've been able to clear out a lot of things. Like, we've wanted to clean up the office for a while, get things sorted out. So since nothing was in there anymore, everything was out, we were able to do that. So, oh yeah, coffee creamers. Thank you, Barbara. So, we were able to get some things cleaned out. So hopefully when we do go back in, we're only bringing back what we really need to have in there and not all the crap that had accumulated over years. So anyways, yeah, so I haven't given up on the idea of sugar syrups. I've just had some challenges with them. They either crystallize and get thick. The flavor was still good, but or they harden up like the monk fruit for some reason did. I don't know why. But I thought coffee creamers is kind of like the best of both worlds. Now, the I enjoy the pumpkin creamer as I have it. I just put it right in there. I could add a little more sweetener, but that's the thing with creamers, because at first I thought, how am I going to get it to everyone's sweetness level? And I don't have to, because you can always add a little more sweetener. You're mostly there for the flavor and a little bit of sweetness. But I like it just straight out of the little jug as is. I don't add any extra sweetener, although I could, just if I'm really in a little sweeter mood. But yeah, so those are the two. I'm done with the pumpkin one. That one's set. I am going to be testing. I was actually going to do it a short time ago, and then thought, I don't want to get myself distracted, because I would be in the middle of doing that. Suddenly I'm like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be on my live. So don't want to do that. So I will be testing that later. And I know vanilla is probably one I could do, but that's kind of, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's like, I think that would be a little too easy. But I don't know if there are any creamer flavors that people like in particular. I like, actually, maybe a gingerbread Might be good. Eggnog, I know I've added, because I made my light eggnog a few years ago now. See, my screen just went blank again. And it's cycling through. Maybe that's just my laptop doing that. Let me know if that is happening to you guys or if it's just me. Um, Let me try refreshing the page and see what happens. Oh, now it's giving me an ad for some weird battle game. Okay, skip that. Hey. Okay, I think I'm back on track. But so the eggnog that I made a light eggnog a few years back, and later, after I can get to the description box of the video, I will link it down below. So if you're watching this after the fact, I will link that recipe, that video. I just add that right to my coffee, and that's fine. But a gingerbread might be good. I'm trying to think of all the like holiday ones that come out, and yeah, I think I'll do a gingerbread next, after the peppermint mocha. But if there are any flavors that you guys like in particular, feel free to let me know. I need a little sip of my water, flavored water, of course. This one's actually mango flavored. I like to go on Amazon and get those flavor packets, but a packet, as they suggest that you do it, is way too sweet for me. Like, they just put it in like a bottle. This is like 2 of those, and I use 1 packet and fill this up with water, and that's perfect. So now that I'm thinking about it, because my computer just did a little glitch. Oh, Barbara, you'd want the gingerbread? Okay, I'm glad you're on board with me. I love gingerbread. Now, I'm thinking somebody mentioned, Gina, did you mention the eggnog and gingerbread pancakes recently? Or am I could be totally wrong, could be totally off base. See, my computer's cycling through again. I wonder if they did something in the office and messed up the Wi-Fi. I mean, my phone is fine because, that's just going through whatever, the cell towers. I don't want to install updates. I don't want that. Where's the thing for, internet? No, it says I have internet access, so I don't know what is going on with this screen. But I'll refresh it once again. See, I think that's why they're doing this. They're having me refresh it so I can see the ads for my own video. Am I repeating over and over? It's looping, kind of. All right. Or you're saying I'm repeating myself, because that can happen too. Hey, where's the shut off the ad thing? Oh, there it is. No, I don't want that. I think it's just on your end because I don't see anything. Okay, that's all that matters to me, is that it's not really affecting you. Although Kathy does say I'm repeating. That could just be me. Fine there too, Karen? Okay. All right, it's just me. I can deal with that as long as I know you guys aren't being affected. It may slow up the chat on the laptop a little bit, but so what about other flavors of, oh, it is working now? Okay, Kathy, thank you. It's fine for you, Mickey? Okay, good. So what about other flavors of coffee creamers, or if there's anything else that you guys are looking for a lighter version of? I do have, and I know I've said this before, a Thousand Island and a honey Dijon dressing. Those two I'm going to be doing sometime soon as well. Um, I keep forgetting about them. Sugar cookies. Okay, I will add that to my list, Karen. I have been wanting to do some sugar cookies for a while. I did see somebody had a version of light sugar cookies. I don't think it was Pound Dropper. I think it might have been Amy's Healthy Baking. Maybe she had pumpkin sugar cookies at one point, I believe. But that would be a great one to get out before Christmas. So I may have to do some quick experimenting and trying to come up with something for sugar cookies, because I did do the snickerdoodles years ago and had a visit from Santa. Oh, it was funny because we shared that video with a friend. I don't know if any of you have seen it or remember it, but there was a video where I made these snickerdoodles out of cake mix, and Santa showed up in the beginning, in the intro, and wanted me to do something with cinnamon. So that was like the whole premise. So we sent that video to a friend of ours, and he said, "Oh my God, that was so fun. Who was playing Santa?" And Paul goes, "That was Roy." He goes, "How were you both in this?" I was like, "It's called editing." That was a lot of fun. I haven't done any real fun editing like that in a while. I really should play around with it. Maybe do something for the holidays or something. I was thinking I could have done something ghosty for Halloween, but I was lucky when I got things out that I did get out, so can only do what I can do. But sugar cookies are on the list. Oh, yeah, I love that too, Kathy, and we still joke about it because what was it? Something that Sandy had said on Facebook, and I made some comment about, oh yeah, that's what I said to Jimmy went front in his basement or something like that. So yeah, I love that one. And then there's the one where I was in Joan's chicken coop through some mystical portal. It was a lot of fun playing around with those things. Oh yeah, cereal with the orange juice. Sandy is so... Actually, I did try it, and it wasn't that bad. Sandy from Life with Sandy, she likes Cheerios with orange juice. And so in one of the videos, I'd stolen like the Cheerios and orange juice or something. I actually did end up trying it, and it wasn't too bad. Not something I'd necessarily want to do all the time, but it wasn't too bad. Hi, Chris. No worries at all. I'm just glad you could make it and join us for a little chat. We were talking about been working on the coffee syrups and having a little challenge. So I did do a pumpkin spice creamer, which I'll be sharing. Going to work on a peppermint mocha Christmas crack. That would be good. That one might be a challenge considering the sweetness of it, but I'm up for a challenge. There's actually little candies like truffles. There goes my computer. Anyway, I'm so easily distracted. Oh, really? That was the first one you saw, was the chicken coop? And you still stuck around, huh? Yeah, I called Joan for that one. And I said, Listen, I know this is going to sound weird, but could you send me a video from inside your chicken coop? So she and Doug went out and they recorded it, and they're like, I don't know how much you need, but we're going to just keep recording. And so they sent me quite a bit of footage that I had to then cut down. But that was a lot of fun. But yeah, see, Paul says I should really start playing around more with those special effects that I was learning. But yeah, who knew a chicken coop would get you this far? I mean, you never know what will lead you in. You know, I don't even remember what the heck that recipe was for that. I'm sure it had something to do with eggs, because I believe I took eggs out of the chicken coop. So I must have, I don't know. Asking me to remember anything is usually pointless. So, you know what's weird? The video, I know I keep harping on it, is blank and cycling, but the chat seems to be keeping up. So it can't be the internet, it must be them. Link that. You've never seen the chicken coop, Barbara? Okay, I'll link that one. Once I'm done here, that's when I usually add on the description box down below and fill that all out. So I will add the chicken coop, which will be good for me to try to remember what the heck that video was for. And, all right. Oh, the eggnog. I'm like, I know it wasn't the eggnog pancakes and gingerbread pancakes. I know that's not what I was talking about. The eggnog, which is really good in coffee. Okay, yes. I think we're back on track. Or at least as far on track as I ever get. But yeah, I will link those. So you'll have to come back after the fact and check out the description box once we get that up. So has anyone been doing anything exciting? As I said, we've been getting the house finally worked on. So that's the most excitement that we've had around here. And trying to think if there was anything else. Oh, I was gonna actually bring the head out that I'd use, because some of you were here when I was talking about playing a prank on our grandson Brian and putting a sleeping person in his bed. And so I was going to bring the head out because I couldn't find the wig that I knew I had. I had a wig here somewhere. I had to go buy another wig at Target. I had a wig head. So I attached that, brought it over, shared a picture on Facebook in the recipes with Roy group, and I just waited. Brian did dress up for Halloween. He likes that anime manga stuff, which I personally don't get. But apparently he was a character from there called Chainsaw Man. So he had like chainsaws for arms and a mask on. It was good. I don't know if he made the mask or not. I've been meaning to ask him, but you know, he's got other things to do. So yeah, he dressed up as that, but I was so excited to be able to give him a little creepiness by putting somebody sleeping in his bed, because they were away, and they said, oh, we'll leave it open for you, come on in, do what you need to do. And his mother texted me and said, I just got Mom, I think someone's sleeping in my bed. So then apparently he went, and he's got toy swords, he is overloaded with toys. I guess he took a toy sword and went to poke at the person. I don't know what he was going to do if someone actually woke up and was freaked out, but it did freak him out. So then I called him later and I said, "Oh, I heard you had a visitor." He goes, "What?" I'm like, "Brian, the friend who was sleeping over?" He goes, "Oh, yeah." But it did creep him out. So, and if you saw the picture, it did look pretty good, I thought. Um, but yeah, I used to do that kind of stuff all the time. I loved pranking people. Um, this friend of mine who I used to babysit for, I thought it looked real, Kathy. I thought I had to make sure that the leg looked like legs were bent, and I took my time. Um, but I used to do that kind of stuff all the time, where I'd hide, or this friend of mine that I lived with for a while, I would put rubber snakes. She would fill up her bathtub, have some bubbles going, and I'd put some rubber snakes in the bottom of the bathtub, so when she got in, she felt something slimy on her. I would put them in her bed. One time, yeah, that one time I went, this is how elaborate I get. One time I took a cassette recording, and I let it play out, a blank cassette. I let it play for a little while, and then I said, Nancy, you got to get me out of here. Nancy. And stuff along those lines. So I had put, while she was not in her room, I had put a little boombox kind of thing into her closet with the recording at the beginning, so that there'd be a long silence before the voice came out. So I went into her room and said, "Oh, I just came in to say goodnight." And I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. I wanted to check out your closet." And I was like pretending she's like, "What in the hell are you doing?" So what I was doing was setting the tape recorder to play, and I left the room. She's all settled in bed. She's reading, and all of a sudden, after like 10 minutes, she hears a voice coming out of the closet. She's like, "Roy, what are you doing in there?" It freaked her out. So I loved playing pranks like that. I haven't done it in a long time. I really can't do it to Paul. He doesn't really care. But I used to love doing things like that. One time, this other friend of mine who I used to babysit for, she would hate to come home from going out because I would have something set up for her. One time, I don't know if some of you may remember, they used to have this bubble bath. This one in particular, I don't know how widespread it was, but it was like in the shape of a cat, and it was a thing of bubble bath that you would take the head off, and it was weird. But anyways, so I put that at the top of the stairs, tied a string to it, brought it down, and put it so that when the door opened, it would come down the stairs. Then I hung a skeleton at the top of the stairs so that you'd see something up there. So she came home, she opened up Avon, that's it. So she came home, opened up the door, the thing comes thunking down the stairs, and she looks up and there's a skeleton hanging up there, and freaked her out. She was very easy to freak out. Another time, I set a chair so that it looked like somebody was sitting there, but the head was like made out of a giant ball of yarn. And I put these old, like, little perfume bottles that may have been from Avon in for like eyes. And I had it like sitting in a chair like this. And she's like, "Roy?" And then she's like, went over and touched the chair, and the ball of yarn fell over, and she screamed. So, yeah, I've not always been the nicest person to have over your house as far as if you get freaked out easily, I might try. But they were always good sports about it. I wouldn't have done it if it was someone who was like, um, really freaked out. But I know Brian loves to scare me. He loves to hide around the corners every time he's here. So I knew he'd be a good sport about it. So I wasn't too worried about him hating me. And if he wants to go to the movies with me in a couple of weeks, we're going to go see Red One, which is about Santa Claus being kidnapped with, like, I think it's The Rock and Chris Evans. So if he wants to keep going to movies with me, whether they're funny, scary, he likes scary movies, so and he'll put up with it. But anyway, so I think, trying to think if there was anything else that happened. I mean, it was a 2-week span since I last saw you, or you saw me. Oh, I saw that, Kathy. That does look good. Juror 2. Yeah, that one looks very interesting. That's my type of story. I like all sorts of different kinds of movies, stories. I have been called worse, Barbara, but yeah, I've always been a prankster. I've always loved doing that kind of stuff. I don't do it as much anymore, so it was nice to have an outlet. Yeah, I did see it was a Clint Eastwood movie, and it does look very interesting. Trying to think, there was another movie that I can't remember what it was now, that I was looking forward to, and I don't know what it was. Half the time I watch a movie trailer and then totally forget about it. And a lot of times the movies aren't out long enough, and I don't go to the theater itself usually. I usually wait until it's on like HBO or something. But are there any movies that you guys are looking forward to? Juror 2 for sure is one that I saw that I would love to see. That one looks very intense. I also want to see the movie Trap, which is an M. Night Shyamalan movie. A lot of his movies I've been disappointed by. Sixth Sense, which was his first big movie that I knew of, loved it. After that, it seemed like he was trying to force something. So I'm hoping that Trap is a good one. If any of you have seen it, let me know if it is any good. Hi, Sharon. California, I'm sure you're much warmer than I am here. It's like 54, 55 right now. That's why I'm in my lovely pink robe. But, yeah, I don't know. We just saw something. Oh, we've been watching, I don't know. It's like a medieval, like King Henry VIII. That's not really, that's a little after medieval, but it's Renaissance, around that time. A show on Hulu called Shard Lake, and that one's really good. It's only 4 episodes, I believe, so it's nothing you're overly invested in, but that one's very good. And the acting is really good. The story is very good. So if you like that kind of thing, I know you're not calling me a bad person, Barbara. I know. But I can be bad, or at least naughty. Let's say I can be naughty at times. But I don't take it personally, Barbara, don't worry. It takes a lot to offend me, so don't worry about it. I didn't take it that way. 57? Sharon, I thought I had it bad. You must be, I mean, I'm chilly, but I'm comfortable. You must be like, feel like you're freezing there. 57 in California. Wow. Yeah, so we're actually about the same temperature. Hmm. Um, but we did have a nice stretch of warm weather up until yesterday, I believe. It was still in the mid 70s. And then today it's like, we're going back to normal. Although 57 for, early November is really not that bad. But as I said early on, you can see, I think last time that I did a live, there were actually still leaves on the trees. Now they're all on the porch pretty much with a ton of acorns. And on the yard as well. But yeah, so we're getting toward that time of the year that I really am not fond of. I don't like the extremes of temperature, for one thing. I'm not a big fan of summer. I'm not a big fan of winter. I like the spring and fall. Those are my type of temperatures and weather. You had rain too? Wasn't there like a big stretch of rain? Was it earlier this year? I think I remember hearing like, or maybe it was even later last year. I remember that California was getting a lot of, we do. We usually wait, Kathy, until all of the leaves have fallen, usually just before Thanksgiving, and we have the guys who come and do the yard. Like, I used to do all of that stuff all the time. I used to do the yard, I used to do the shoveling, I used to, all of that stuff. And it kind of, I mean, I'm glad that we can find people to do it for us, but I really hate that we have to. Because I used to do it all the time. I'd go and take care of the yard in the fall. I was going to say vacuum. Mow the grass, shovel. Not anymore. I can't do it. So I even have to have the guys clean off my vehicle just in case I have to get out quickly. So they'll shovel our walk. Sometimes they do forget to do that. But yeah, they're the same ones who they'll come and they'll clean up the yard and do all of that stuff. They also will clean out our gutters because the leaves do like to pile up in there. We need to get one of those covers, those little grate things. That my worry is if there's a cover on it and leaves fall on it and they're getting wet, don't they just kind of plaster themselves to it? I don't know. I'm sure they wouldn't cover the whole thing anyways, but these are the things I think of that makes Paul crazy, because he's like, you're thinking of things, problems in particular, that you don't really need to be thinking about. But that's just the way my mind works. I try to see every contingency that I can think of and try to take care of it. Kind of like with the cookbook, I tried to do everything that I could think of that I would want to know into the cookbook, because I wanted to make sure it was worth the investment that people were going to make in it. Yeah, last year we had a lot of rain. Lake Tahoe had snow already. I'm in the Sacramento area. Wow. Yeah, I did remember, because I listened to a podcast called My Favorite Murder, and they're based in California. So, and they were talking a lot about the rain, and I do remember there was like many days of rain, and even some of the shows that I watch on the HGTV, the Property Brothers. I know a few of their episodes, they were dealing with a lot of that rain. So, yeah, I do know that. And yep, clocks go back tonight. I really wish they would get away with that. Get away with it. Do away with it. Because honestly, I think at one point, I remember it being supposedly that they were saving energy. I don't really see that there's a point anymore. And I hate how dark it gets so early. It's like 4:30 and it's like dark. I hate it. Gina said it's chilly here in California, 55 at the moment. Nice change from roasting all summer. Oh, I'm sure it's a nice change. See, for me, that would be perfect as far as like not being in the heat. But I'm sure for people who are not used to it, it feels probably much colder than it would feel to me. I'm assuming. I only watched one season of Dancing with the Stars, Kathy, because they had one of my favorite drag queens, Shangela, was one of the competitors. So I had to watch that one. And Selma Blair was on there. And I was so impressed with Selma Blair because she has some sort of physical issue, kind of like what I have. I think it's MS. I think that's what she had, but it was something similar to what I deal with. So seeing her pushing forward and doing the dancing, that was a big deal. But that was the only season I've ever actually watched. But yeah, I did enjoy that season. I mean, if there was someone that I wanted to, usually my go-tos are Survivor, Amazing Race when that's out, Big Brother. I love Crime Scene Kitchen because it combines two of my favorite things, true crime and baking. So how can you go wrong with a show like that? I like The Voice, not The Voice. I did used to watch The Voice, but I don't anymore. The Masked Singer, I watch. I mean, I still enjoy it, but it's kind of gotten, yeah, like, okay, it's getting, I think they're putting it out too often because it's like they take a break for a couple of months and then they're back again. You like Survivor? I love Survivor. And I love when they have like blind sides and things like that, or things that I just love the whole dynamic. I watched it since the beginning, and I used to watch with my mother and my brother. And I remember one time my mother had gone to the store, and so my brother and I decided to play a little joke on her. Yes, prankster once again. And we took one of those tiki torches that you'd stick into the ground, and we wrote a little parchment paper kind of thing that had her name on it, and stuck it outside the door, like almost across the door, and said, "The tribe has spoken. You may leave tribal council," or something like that. So when she came home, that's what she found. She found it amusing. So, but yes, I love Survivor and I love pranking. Actually, I did apply to be on Survivor. Actually, I think it was shortly after Paul and I got together. So it was probably 2002, maybe 2003. And I remember recording the application video for it. And I was like, listen, I can be by myself and be totally happy, so I'd be the perfect survivor, yada yada. Obviously now I couldn't do it because, although I did, here we go, another tangent. I love on Netflix, they have a show called The Circle, which is all about social media, like people in these different apartments in one building, and they're communicating through chat. So they never actually meet each other. They could be catfish, they could be real, what have you. So I did put out there, because they were saying, if you are interested, if something more comes up, yada yada. So I did put my name in there, and then I got an email yesterday saying that they are doing Squid Games The Challenge 2, which we did watch that and we liked that. If I was interested in applying for that. And Paul said, "Oh, I think you should do it." And there is not a single challenge I would be able to do. Even, I don't know if any of you ever saw Squid Games or Squid Game The Challenge, but one of the challenges is they get these cookies that have like an imprint in them, like a star or an umbrella, which is the hardest one, things like that. And you have to take a little needle and poke around it, try to get just that piece out without breaking it. I was like, I couldn't even pick up the cookie without breaking it. So that would not be my thing. I could do the circle because I'm sitting in an apartment somewhere, so I could do that. But my sister Kelly and I also applied once for The Amazing Race, but where we thought, because we crack each other up all the time. In the video, the application video was probably a little too much of that. And they were probably like, oh, these people are nuts, or they wouldn't be serious about it, or what have you. We thought we're showing our personalities, we're showing how fun we could be, but I think they thought it was a little too much. But so I have tried to be on a reality game show. I couldn't do one of those like real world things or whatever. But game shows, yeah, I've tried. Nothing's come of it. And we are approaching the hour mark. So if anyone has any requests, any comments, any questions, any what have you, and if you wouldn't mind leaving me a thumbs up, I would appreciate that as well. But I hope that you guys had a lovely visit with me. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks. If the office is back, then I know I can do it in the kitchen, living room, dining room area. It may not be too cold out here yet that I could still do it out here. If that's not the case, I may have to do it in the corner of my bedroom, where I tried to do it a couple weeks ago and something zonked out with YouTube, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in a couple of weeks, but oh yeah, Kathy, I love that too, especially these days. I love it. And they're finding them without clues now. Yeah, I love it. You have a great rest of your weekend, also, Kathy. And I hope all of you have a great weekend. As I said, once this goes and I'm done, I'm going to go in and put the description box. So go down if you want, once that's up, and I'll link the eggnog video and the chicken coop video. So I got to remember, eggnog, chicken coop. That should be easy to remember. Eggs, chickens. What's not to remember? Okay. So I guess I'm going to end it here. I had a great time chatting with you, rambling, as my friend Ellen would say. But that's what I do. I like to ramble. I do a lot of it. Makes Paul crazy, but hey, This is what he signed up for. He should have written back if he didn't want this kind of rambling in his life. All right, people. I will talk to you all in 2 weeks. I should hopefully have a new, I will tell him, Kathy, thank you. I should have a new video Friday with the coffee creamer. Fingers crossed everything goes well. And hopefully in 2 weeks I will have an update, a good update on how the rooms are almost done. I don't think the floors will be in by then, but yes, Karen, until next time. So I guess that does it for me, guys. I will chat with you again real soon. So bye, Sharon. Have a great rest of your weekend. I hope those of you in California, I hope it warms up at least a little bit for you. Not too much, just a little bit. All right, guys. Until next time. Bye.